In the upscale shopping district of San Diego, a tense confrontation unfolded in a crowded parking lot. Jordan Carter, a 38-year-old African-American man, was simply trying to find a parking spot to buy an anniversary gift for his wife, Mia. As he maneuvered his modest sedan into an empty space, a sleek black SUV screeched to a halt nearby. Inside, Brian Mitchell, a 45-year-old white man, slammed his palm against the steering wheel, his wife, Lisa, beside him, adjusting her designer sunglasses. "Did you see that? He just took our spot," Brian exclaimed, his voice dripping with disdain. "Those people always think they own everything," Lisa muttered, her camera already poised to capture the unfolding drama. As Jordan exited his car, he sensed the hostility radiating from the couple. "I'm sorry, but I didn't see anyone waiting," he replied evenly, trying to defuse the situation. "You people never see anyone else, do you?" Brian sneered, stepping closer, his wedding ring glinting in the sunlight. Jordan stood his ground, his military training evident in his calm demeanor. "Sir, I suggest you step back," he warned, but Brian lunged forward, shoving him again. "Or what? You going to do something about it, boy?" Brian taunted, his voice rising. Jordan reached for his phone, dialing a number he knew by heart. The couple had no idea who they were really confronting. As he stood there, he felt the weight of his military service and the responsibility that came with it. "Security! We need security over here," Lisa shouted, deliberately drawing a crowd. Jordan took a deep breath, his mind racing. He was just here to buy a watch for Mia, a gift she had admired for months. But now he was caught in a web of prejudice and entitlement. "Look, I'm just trying to buy something for my wife's anniversary," he said, trying to reason with them. "Anniversary? And I'm sure you can afford the stores here," Brian scoffed, his eyes narrowing as he assessed Jordan. Jordan noted the logo on Brian's polo shirt, Mitchell Defense Contractors. A flicker of recognition sparked in his mind. "Sir, I have every right to park here and shop here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have purchases to make." Brian stepped directly in Jordan's path, blocking his way. "No, you don't get to walk away. Move your car." "I'm not moving my car," Jordan replied, maintaining eye contact. "There's no reason for this confrontation." Lisa continued filming, narrating to her audience. This is how they act when confronted about breaking rules. Always defensive. Jordan took a measured breath, his military discipline kicking in. "Mitchell Defense Contractors provide security systems to the naval base, correct?" he asked, his tone shifting. "That's right," Brian puffed his chest, clearly proud of his company's reputation. "Maybe you should think about that before you disrespect me." Jordan's expression remained neutral, but inside, he was calculating. "Interesting," he said quietly, attempting to step around them once more. Brian moved to block him again, performing for the growing audience. "I'm not done talking to you. You need to apologize and move your car now." "Sir, I've already explained that I parked legally. There's nothing more to discuss," Jordan stated firmly. Just then, a security guard approached, a middle-aged white man with an air of authority. "What's the problem here?" he asked, immediately turning to Brian. "This man stole our parking space and is being aggressive when asked to move," Brian explained, gesturing dramatically. The guard turned to Jordan. "Sir, I'm going to need to see some ID." "On what grounds?" Jordan asked calmly. "Just standard procedure when there is a disturbance," the guard replied. Though Jordan knew no such procedure existed, Jordan complied, retrieving his wallet and handing over his identification. The crowd watched in uncomfortable silence as the guard scrutinized it longer than necessary. "What's your business here today?" the guard questioned. "I'm purchasing an anniversary gift for my wife," Jordan replied, his dignity intact despite the public interrogation. Brian laughed. "Probably just casing the place." The guard's demeanor shifted slightly upon reading something on the ID, but he maintained his position. "Sir, if there's going to be a problem, I can have your vehicle towed." "There's no problem," Jordan stated. "I'm simply trying to make a purchase." Lisa zoomed her camera in on Jordan's face. "Acting so polite now that security's here. Everyone sees through it." As the guard stepped back, Brian leaned in close. "People like you need to learn your place. This isn't your neighborhood." Jordan absorbed the words without visible reaction. though something hardened behind his eyes. "Have a good day," he said finally, stepping around the couple with deliberate care, his shoulders squared and head held high despite the public humiliation. As Jordan walked away, he made a single phone call that would change everything about this confrontation. He leaned against a concrete pillar, taking a deep breath. "Commander Davis," he said, his voice shifting to a crisp military cadence. "It's Carter. I have a situation at Bayview Plaza that requires attention." Meanwhile, Brian and Lisa celebrated their perceived victory, unaware of the storm brewing. "That went well," Brian said, adjusting his sunglasses. "People need to learn respect." "I got most of it on video," Lisa replied, already editing the footage on her phone. "Should I post it?" "Absolutely," Brian decided, convinced there was nothing to fear. As Jordan entered the high-end watch boutique, the saleswoman greeted him with a practiced smile that faltered when she recognized him from the scene outside. "I'm so sorry about what happened out there," she said quietly. "It's fine," Jordan replied with genuine calm. "Justice takes many forms." He selected the Omega Seamaster, a watch he knew Mia had been admiring. While the saleswoman prepared the purchase, Jordan made another call. "Admiral Phillips," he said, his voice dropping lower. "Commander Carter, about tomorrow's presentation with Mitchell Defense Contractors. I believe there's something you should know before making your decision." As the Mitchells basked in their perceived triumph, the reality of their actions began to unravel. The video Lisa posted went viral, drawing attention from military-affiliated accounts. "Do you know who that is?" someone commented. "That's Commander Jordan Carter, SEAL Team 6. Panic set in as Brian realized the implications of their behavior. "We need to delete this now," Lisa urged, but it was too late. The damage was done as the day of the presentation arrived. The atmosphere was tense. Jordan, now in his dress uniform, entered the conference room where the Mitchells were set to present their bid for a $40 million contract. The naval officers exchanged glances, aware of the storm brewing. "Mr. Mitchell is not present," the lead engineer explained nervously. "Very well. You may proceed," Admiral Phillips said, his tone grave. As the presentation unfolded, Jordan's questions cut through the technical jargon. "How does Mitchell Defense Contractors address prejudice and bias in security protocols and company culture?" he asked, his voice steady. The room fell silent, and the lead engineer struggled to respond. "We have standard diversity training, sir," he stammered. Jordan nodded thoughtfully. "And how effective has that training been at the leadership level?" Back at Mitchell headquarters, Brian and Lisa faced the fallout of their actions. The company's reputation was in tatters, and the board of directors convened an emergency meeting. "We need damage control," Brian insisted, but the reality was sinking in. As the naval officers concluded their evaluation, Admiral Phillips turned to Jordan. "Your assessment, Commander?" "Mitchell Defense employs over 200 people, many of whom are veterans themselves," Jordan replied. "Canceling their contracts entirely would punish innocent employees for their leadership's failures." The Admiral nodded thoughtfully. "What do you recommend?" "Conditional continuation, sir, with significant changes to leadership structure and mandatory oversight of company culture and hiring practices," Jordan stated firmly. As the Mitchells signed away their leadership positions, Jordan felt a sense of justice served. "Today, we've moved one step closer to those ideals," he said quietly. Months later, as Jordan prepared to evaluate the company that had racially profiled him, he received an unexpected visit from Brian and Lisa. Their designer clothes replaced by modest attire, they stood on his porch, humbled. "We came to apologize in person," Brian said, his voice sincere. "We've been through the training programs. I didn't think I needed them. I was wrong." Jordan listened, assessing their sincerity. "Second chances must be earned, not given," he replied. As they left, Jordan reflected on the transformation that had taken place. The ripple effects of that parking lot confrontation had sparked change, not just for the Mitchells, but for the entire defense contracting industry. In the end, Jordan realized that true strength isn't measured by power over others, but by mastery over oneself. And sometimes, the most powerful victories come not from destruction, but from transformation.